Already, and welcome back. Next up is Nish, a marketing and growth advisor who is passionate about how blockchain is changing medicine. Her talk, The Money Revolution in Medicine, will show us how new Web3 tools are making medical research more open, fair, and powered by the community. If you want to learn how blockchain is shaping the healthcare, you definitely don't want to miss this one. Let's welcome Nish. Nish, hello. The stage is yours.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here. Awesome. All right. So, for everyone who knows me, hey, and for those guys that don't, my name is Nish. I'm just going to start with a quick overview about me. I do a lot of public speaking. I advise a lot of companies on growth and marketing strategies, specifically for Web3 and AI. And emerging technologies. And I fell into the medical technology rabbit hole very early on. It was actually the reason that I fell in love with blockchain. And so decentralized science is something that I've been waiting for my entire life. I did start an agency with my sister back in 2020 and helped her scale. So I have a lot of experience in the crypto space, and I'm also pursuing my master's in dental surgery, giving me a lot of experience in the research space as well. And because I see the research space so closely, I'm able to identify a lot of holes in, how decentralized science can really come in and change the world of research. So just to start with a quick overview, I mean, research is relatively straightforward. You have four different steps. I mean, it takes a really long time, but straightforward nonetheless. So everything does begin with a question. So what are you researching? What's your main goal here? What's the goal? Then once you have your proposal, usually researchers will submit their grants to submit for grant applications and try to get their funding. And well, researchers have seen that there is a success rate of only 10 to 20% of actual research that gets funded, which is super low. So when it comes to really rare diseases, you'll find that those don't get funded so often because they cannot make big pharma money. Then the third step is your experiments and data collection. So once you have your outline and your funding, then you go ahead and collect your data. And this can be done through experiments, just through other research, through lab work, simulations, field studies. It depends on whatever you're looking into. And finally, the publications. There are different tiers of publications, and obviously everyone wants to go in a Q1 or highest quality of journals, and these are ones that are recognized by specialty boards. So for example, the American Periodontal Association will use one board, and the Pediatric Association will use another, and they're all just different organizations, and there's a lot of cross-pollination between those publications as well whenever the research is interdisciplinary. So moving on to decentralized science 101, because I know a lot of my medical colleagues are interested in this. Decentralized science, or DeSci, is it's quite a broad concept. It uses blockchain technology, features such as a token or NFTs, and a decentralized autonomous organization. And you'll hear me say that word a lot through this presentation because for some reason DeSci just loves DAOs right now. Basically, all these kind of work as tools. It's important not to get too caught up in the technology and just to understand how these tools come into play here. So basically, these tools do provide a platform for scientists to raise funds, run experiments, share data, encrypt data, sell data, even for users, which is great. Distribute insights, and just kind of build on that IP narrative. The technology that I mentioned, decentralized science is made of all three components here, and all of them are backed by blockchain technology. So, I'm just going to break it down, into NFTs first. Like I said, NFTs represent ownership. They're not your typical monkey profile pictures or, the bored apes that you see. You're looking at proper data sets that are integrated onto blockchain. And the reason being is that you cannot just trade these data sets. Well, you can technically just sell them. However, they remain as one data set. You cannot fragment them like other data. The use cases are, they basically allow these DAOs or individual researchers to fund or govern or co-own them. It even allows users to own them. So for example, if I'm a participant in a clinical research trial, I can actually hold my own data and be rewarded every time I do want other researchers to use it. There's licensing as well. So licenses can be held as NFTs around smart contracts, and that is used to replace the slow and legal structures that currently exist. So, for example, right now you have your business license in the US. You cannot directly just deal with a business license in Singapore. Whereas if things are stored on, as a digital asset, you kind of break that global barrier. When it comes to AI, everyone loves AI. In fact, it's one of the most requested research topics, which is no surprise, really. But it does allow for discovery, drug discovery, reproducibility, auto-generated research summaries, quality control, and it just shortens the research cycles and summarizes everything. And finally, we have crypto, which is the most taboo out of decentralized science, and maybe even the largest barrier. Crypto serves as the infrastructure. It's the underlying, foundation between incentives. So not only incentives for users, but also funding, because as I mentioned in my last slide, only 10 to 20% of projects actually get funded. And so you're looking at, this complete decentralization of research funding. And it's all tracked and it's all visible. So it's no more just waiting for a big pharma to fund your miracle drug. It's now, oh, okay, this dad whose daughter has a really rare condition can fund your research, and all his friends can fund your research. And, it's just it puts the power back in the people's hands, where it really belongs. Additionally, to the token aspect, the crypto aspect does work, for voting. Users can pay to vote or hold a certain token to vote on decisions that are made at an organization level, just to make sure that, they are involved in the project. So kind of what I just ran through. Now, the problem. There's a fragmented access right now. Research is behind encrypted walls. A lot of high quality research still costs anywhere between $30 to $100 per article. So even for someone like me that's doing my dissertation now as part of my master's, I have to sift through, as much data as possible. And with limited access, it does serve as a barrier in terms of my quality of research. There are bottlenecks in also the review process. In fact, one of my professors has released an article, and he talks about editorial bias that takes place when research is done. So a lot of times that when you submit a research article, the ethical board needs to approve and publish it on the publication side. What happens is no one knows who's sitting on the board of approval on the publication side. However, the board of approval knows the authors. And so his research article did find that there was a 4 times shorter wait if the ethical board of approval knew you versus if they didn't. And the average peer review was anywhere from 100 to 180 days, but this could be easily over a year sometimes. Then there's also biases and misaligned incentives, who actually gets rewarded at the end. There's a lack of transparency. Only 29% of psychological studies are reproducible, which is so small. So there's definitely an upgrade waiting to happen. Now, the solution is quite simple. Decentralized science seems like an easy fix. It fixes, one of the main issues in the traditional scientific field, which is called the valley of death, which refers to as a period between fundamental scientific research and the development and translation of that research into benefits that are relevant to patients. As someone who's seen it firsthand, I understand how these inefficiencies work. There's a lot of waste of talent, uh, ideas that kind of just go under the system. And my professor study, and I'll try and link it later, but it shows how systemic biases, even amongst editorial teams, really impact the pace and fairness of the current system. So it's not just a new funding model, it's also for transparency, it's for efficiency, and it's for incentives that can really run on a legacy system that exists right now. So it's just DeSci just needs an upgrade. So are we there yet? Well, there are a few things. While I want to say yes, to be honest, on the institutional level, big pharma, academia, it's already decades of foundations that have been built. And let's be honest, us doctors are not very easy to sway, especially when there's research involved. We like to stick to our Q1 journals and everything else. So there is expected resistance, especially when there's status and hierarchy, and we're going to see that DeSci is a disruptive technology, and no one likes disruption. There is a lack of standards right now. There is no unified framework for DeSci native formats. There's no interoperability right now between DeSci and our traditional systems. PubMed, the FDA. I mean, we'll see when they pick up their first DeSci platform, but we might not be that far yet. There are regulations that do fall into place here, obviously, with the use of tokens and NFTs. Those are digital assets, and there's not much clarity. So there are some changes that do need to take place. There's also the aspect of the HIPAA guidelines and the patient data and the FDA guidelines on what you can do with that patient data. So while the question of selling your own data sounds amazing, we'll see when we get there. Then there's finally the onboarding side. Now, the user experience in crypto is terrible. I think everyone can vouch for that. So we do have a while before scientists can actually hold a token and trade NFTs that are applicable to take decentralized science in a different trajectory. Now, the current ecosystem is huge. There are a lot of projects building, and you can see on this list, or actually, yeah, you can see here, there's a whole section for meme coins, which realistically, no one's going to take seriously, especially not in the science field right now. As much as I love my meme coins, I don't personally feel like there's space for them just yet, but who knows, maybe soon. The ecosystem is really, really small compared to the entire crypto market, though, I will say. The entire DeSci market cap, excluding the meme coins, is only 1.2 billion, which is only 0.035% of crypto. Now, the way that this is distributed, amongst them DAOs, like I said, I'll be talking about this a lot. So it's a decentralized autonomous organization where basically the entire organization runs as a community, and the community runs the organization. So you have voting rights, and the entire community takes part in how the company grows. So they have the largest percentage of market share right now. Then you have, funding, decentralized funding, biotech research, communities, and the highest ranked right now is Research Hub. It has a treasury value of $6 million. And it basically will serve as a publication. So they've already started publications. If you're interested in this, definitely check it out, because what they're doing is really cool. Now, to kind of dive through a couple use cases, it's funny because right before I started, I actually got an email from bioDAO, so I'm just going to read it out really quick. It says, DeSci in action. Vita RNA tokenized gene therapy achieves key safety milestone in first animal studies. This is huge because even to get to the animal study stage, there are different steps that researchers need to take and a lot of protocol to be followed. This is the first tokenized gene therapy project. The funding was from bioDAO, which is on the screen now, and they raised $91,000. Then the community raised a subsequent $300,000 through IP tokenization. So now they're basically tokenizing all of their research and actually using it. There's a whole progress update. If you're interested, I can forward it to you. Super cool. Highly recommend it. Now back to my script. bioDAO is basically another DAO. They collect funds and they look at longevity research. And again, it's kind of community funded. Although bioDAO did get $4.1 million in funding through Pfizer, Shine Capital, L1 Digital, and some really big names. And that's how they kind of kickstarted their entire community aspect of things. CureDAO rewards by data sharing. So it aims to discover how millions of factors affect human health and minimize pain. I'm not sure how many of you guys watching wear a Whoop, but a Whoop is like a great idea of what a wearable can do. So you can extract all your data. You can actually share your data with researchers and get rewarded when you share your data, because let's be honest, Whoop uses it right now and you pay them instead. NeuroDAO is also decentralized science, Web3, and it improves the R&D process, so research and development process for neurotechnology. So some really cool things going on here. Now, a major goal of the decentralized science movement is to fund projects that were previously neglected or did not have enough market share or just not interesting enough. So bioDAO, they focus on research in rare conditions. The co-founder, Alok, his daughter was born with a rare condition, kind of goes back to my analogy earlier. And it pushed him to create a DAO that has now been backed by Gary Tan, who is now the YC president. Former partner at A16Z, Balaji Srinivasan, and former CTO Coinbase. So some really big funding for just a dad that wanted to help his daughter. Molecule DAO, on the other hand, is a decentralized biotech protocol as well. They look at research-related IP, and they offer a marketplace for it. So anyone can look into IP directly, sell it, trade it, and do whatever they want. They work directly with VitaDAO, ValleyDAO, SciDAO. SciDAO looks at psychedelics. ValleyDAO looks at carbon emissions, and LabDAO, looks at laboratory services. Mm-hmm. So a lot of different aspects that they work with here. But as I mentioned in my last slides, Research Hub, is the highest ranking DAO out of all of them, just based on their positioning. Now, the future outlook, as I said, there are certain timelines that we're waiting for. We're still very early on the decentralized science space, even though it's been around for about 3 years now. We are really early. So, even though it's a promising trend, we need to address challenges like insufficient funding. There's a limited access to information. there's biased research, there's a combination of decentralized science and crypto and IPs and digital assets that obviously does play a really big role in how we move forward. Thank you, guys. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I have my Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, and my LinkedIn is my name. Let me know if you have any questions as well. I can't see them here, but Farouk is here to help.
Yes, yes. Nish, thank you so much. It was a spotlight to the decentralized medicine.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also reading that email out loud was pretty cool insight that we've got. We were very happy to experience this in real time. I've got a question for you. With projects like Vita DAO and I did my research on the Lab DAO,
Mhm.
gaining that much attention right now. And also you received an email uh, from them. Could you explain what exactly they do by tokenizing animal genetics and how this approach, uh, let's say, I mean, shaping the future of scientific medicine research? What
Yeah.
does the tokenizing in this case mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, when it comes to this exact one, I'm not sure because I just got the email as soon as I started streaming. Um, but I'll look into exactly how they're IPing their data, and what that they can do with it specifically for mouse genetics. However, I think on the user side, it's really easy to understand the IP side. So I'm just going to use it as a case study. Sorry, my dogs want attention. So, like I mentioned with Whoop, right? Your entire bio is constantly recorded. It's a fitness tracker. So you have your sleep cycles, you can put in your food, you can even put in your intimacy, you can put in all of your habits, smoking, drinking, so on. All of that is summarized into a nice little data set. And that data set can be sold as IP. So that is technically supposed to be your IP. However, right now that is owned by Whoop, the technology provider. What decentralized science does is it allows you to own that, and it allows you to say, well, you can use my data and my information, but this is how you're going to use it, or this is how you're going to pay me for it, or here's exactly where I want my research to go, and here's what I'm going to get in return. Um, my main understanding from the mouse study is that the IP side basically allows them to serve as a patent or to put their findings into an IP that other researchers or future researchers can use, because that is another hurdle that's faced right now in the traditional science industry.
Right, right. I mean, opening the data access has always been a big challenge of the mass adoption, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's a crucial step to for the sake of democracy in research, and then probably balancing the openness of the data and with privacy and sensitive data is going to be I mean, the debates for next couple of years. Uh,
Yeah.
and there goes a question, and I'll add a little bit to it. If you could, after that, mention. I love the part when you mentioned the um, like decentralized grants to sponsor some of the scientific research. If you
Mhm.
could just, I mean, it's revolutionary. If you could see that, share some real life examples. If someone has ever done this already, that would be very interesting to us as well.
Yeah, I mean, the email was a perfect example. So they raised $300,000 from the community, and VitaDAO does go through community rounds to select which projects they invest in. Um, it's it's a fantastic idea. I think if you head to Research Hub, you can see projects that have applied for funding. And I maybe if you're okay, I can just share my screen really quick on how it works.
Sure, sure. So it's tokenized and community-directed funding.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, here. I'm just gonna share a tab. Okay. There you go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So here you can see this is Research Hub, and this is what I mean. The user interface isn't the greatest, but just bear with us. I promise we'll get there. So over here you can go to Earn, and this is for researchers who want to upload their research topics. And you can see this one's on math, this one's on neuroscience, and you can add your review and do a peer review of this research article to make sure that it has utmost quality. And they'll pay you $150 in their token in order to review this article. At the same time, there's the funding aspect. Now, on this one, people will, or researchers will upload their proposals and they'll get grants on for funding. And yeah, it's really just that simple. Then you have the journal where everything is published, and it's 14 days to peer review, immediate reprints, and open access by default. So it removes all of the barriers.
That is awesome. Yeah, thank you for sharing. So any of us can jump in
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
wow, wow. Uh, and I think you can see the question on the screen.
Yeah, I can. So if DeSci is presented in any crypto, can you please provide examples? So the screen that I had up with the entire ecosystem, I believe the majority of those tokens do exist. Here, let me just bring it back up. They are. I don't know if it's going to load, but either way, Vita DAO, bioDAO, molecule DAO, um, even research hub here. There we go. A lot for you to choose on. There's infrastructure, you name it, it's there. I have reposted this on my Twitter, so if you're interested, again, drop me a message. My DMs are always open, and I love this space, so I'll happily kind of walk you through.
Awesome. Thank you, Nish. Well, I think we ran out of the questions at the moment. We're good to wrap up. Thank you, Nish,
Thank
for
you.
your inspiring session. I mean, it's truly fascinating. Something that I didn't personally explore that much, but I'll do my homework on that topic. And good luck on your dissertation.
Thank
Let us
you.
know if we can help you in any way possible, the
Of
researchers or
course.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
And also, if you want to discuss any other hot topic or you get another interesting email, you're welcome to use our stage and platform to speak out. I mean, this is something that has to be advocated, and we
Mhm.
are happy to support you at this point.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you again, Nish, our new friend at Blockchain Professionals. Have a great one.
See you. Bye.